Hello, my name is Parker Thomas, and I'm here to tell you what I've learned about the First Amendment and media law. The first thing is the First Amendment is the freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, freedom of petition, and freedom of the press. What this means is you can say what you want, you can assemble as long as it's a peaceful assembly. You can participate in any religion that you want to. You can petition the government and call them out on stuff, and you can also, as the press, you can release all sorts of information as long as it's true or it can't be slanderous, but we'll talk about that later. The thing about the Second Amendment is there's a couple of cases that I read about that were really eye-opening for me. That's the Skokie case and the Rav case, or R-A-V. The Skokie case is basically there was a town with a whole lot of a Jewish population, and there was going to be a Nazi march. Now, the town didn't like that, but the court of Illinois said that it's legal for the Nazis to march because they gave prior notice and it was going to be a peaceful thing. It wasn't like they were going to go around and start another Holocaust. Swastikas are a protected symbol, and they're not fighting words because of prior restraint. So that's that case. The Rav case is basically about this white kid who got convicted for burning a cross in a African American family's yard, and the conviction got overturned because it is a symbol, it is a political symbol which is protected by the First Amendment. How did both of these cases ended? Well, in the Skokie case, the Nazis were able to march, but they decided not to because they're afraid of counter-protest, so they didn't bother to show up. The Rav case, like I said, it got overturned because the court said that even if a symbol offends you, you can't be arrested for it. However, that was overturned. Well, no, it wasn't overturned, but that decision changed in the Virginia versus Black case, where they ruled that you can't use a burning cross because of the history of it. And the history of it is that it's a threat, and that usually when you saw a burning cross, that meant that some bad stuff was about to go down. Now, the reason why the Rav case and the Skokie case went down is because of the Cohen case, which is when Paul Coven was wearing a jacket that had "fuck the draft" on it. Now, the ruling for that case basically said that just because something offends one man's vulgarity is another man's lyric. What that basically means is one person might see something as offensive, but another person might see it as something cool. It was a political statement, and you have to be really careful when you censor political statements. It's something else they said in their ruling. So now we're going to bring this to the current day. We have these things on campuses called speech codes now, and speech codes are basically policies that prohibit certain things being said. An example of that is in the West Virginia University, and there were 2 free speech zones, and free speech zones are exactly what they sound like. There are zones where you can have free speech, and there's only 2 of them in the entirety of the whole campus. Everywhere else, you have to be careful what you say or you could get in trouble. 2 students decided to fight against this. Their names are Michael Bomford and Matthew Poe. They reached out to FIRE, which is an organization that upholds the First Amendment in colleges. They, in turn, contacted the president. His name is David C. Hardesty Jr., about tearing down this policy, and as a result, the Board of Governors replaced that policy and made it so that the entire campus was a free speech. The whole campus is a free speech zone again. That's the nutshell of that particular incident. The source is from thefire.org. You can read a lot of stuff about free speech on campus at that website. So in the end, what I learned in this unit is that You know, free speech protects everyone, even people that you think that are even people that you think are deplorable and have horrible views. They're protected by law by the First Amendment. It's a hard pill to swallow, especially as a black person. I don't want to be called out on my name, but that person has that right, and I would rather them have that right than for speech of theirs to be banned and then they slowly creep over to me and they take my rights away. So if a person of another race wants to call me out of my name, well, they can do it, and while I don't agree with it, I would fight to the death for their right to say it. And that is what I've learned in this unit. I hope you enjoyed my video, and until Unit 2, I'll see you later.